You ever been so low, so broken, so tired of faking that smile that you look in the mirror and don't even recognize yourself? I'm talking about the kind of pain that don't show up in Instagram posts. The kind of emptiness that money, people, success, they can't touch it. You walk around with a mask on, but inside you screaming, God, where are you? But let me tell you what God said. God said, I will restore your joy. God said, I will restore your joy. Joy is not happiness. It's deeper, stronger, and more unshakable. The world confuses the two, but they're not the same. Happiness is an emotion. It's based on what's happening around you. When things go your way, when the bills are paid, when the relationships feel good, when you're recognized, celebrated, and applauded, then happiness shows up. But what happens when all of that fades? When life shifts, when you're not getting the call back, when the doors close, when you feel alone in a crowded room, where does happiness go then? See, that's where joy steps in. Joy is the quiet strength you carry even when life gets loud with chaos. It's the peace that doesn't make sense. The fire that doesn't burn out even in the middle of the storm. It's not something you can buy, fake, or perform your way into. Joy is supernatural. It comes from God, and when he gives it, no one can take it away. This is why when God said, I will restore your joy, he wasn't just promising a feeling. He was promising to restore your power, your clarity, your ability to rise when everything around you is falling apart. Because let's be real, life will hit you. It doesn't ask for permission. Grief shows up, betrayal shows up, delays, disappointments, depression, they all knock at your door. And if your life is built only on happiness, then every storm will tear you down. But joy is built on a rock that doesn't move. Joy says, even when I don't feel it, I know God is still working. Joy says this pain has a purpose. Joy doesn't deny reality. It just knows there's a greater reality at work behind the scenes. And when you have joy, you can smile in the struggle, not because the struggle isn't real, but because your God is real. That's why the enemy goes after your joy. He doesn't need your money, your car, or your title. He's coming for your joy. Because if he can take your joy, he can take your fight. He can get you to sit down when you were born to stand up. He can get you to doubt when you were called to believe. The Bible says the joy of the Lord is your strength, not your intelligence, not your education, not even your connections. Your joy is what keeps you standing when everything else says fall. So when God says, I will restore your joy, he's saying, I'm giving you your strength back. I'm giving you your confidence back. I'm giving you your identity back. This is not surface level. This is so deep. Maybe you've been walking around drained, showing up but not fully alive, smiling but hurting, functioning but not flourishing. People see you and think you're fine because you're still performing, but inside you've been empty. You've been running on fumes. What you need is not another vacation, not another distraction. You need joy, and not just any joy. You need restored joy. Restoration means it's coming back better than it left. It means God is not just giving you back what you lost. He's giving you back what was stolen, multiplied, refined, and infused with his power. And that's the kind of joy that changes lives. It lifts you when you're low. It fuels you when you're weak. It reminds you of who you are when the world tries to make you forget. So hear this today, your joy is coming back. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to push through life numb and disconnected. The same God who created the heavens and the earth is about to breathe joy back into your soul. You're going to laugh again. You're going to wake up excited again. You're going to walk in purpose again. And not because the conditions around you are perfect, but because the God within you is faithful. He said it. He promised it. I will restore your joy. And when God says it, it's done. The enemy doesn't always come after your finances first. He doesn't always hit your career, your relationships, or your health. Sometimes his first target is your joy. Why? Because your joy is your strength. If he can drain your joy, he can disarm you. He doesn't have to take everything from you. He just has to get you to stop fighting for what God already gave you. Joy is not just a nice feeling, it's a weapon. It gives you endurance, clarity, and resilience. When you walk in joy, you walk in power. The enemy knows if you still have your joy, you still have your voice. You'll still wake up and pray. You'll still believe when everything tells you to doubt. You'll still love when hate comes against you. Joy is what keeps your heart soft in a hard world. And once the enemy steals that, he can start to whisper lies into the cracks left behind. Lies like you're not enough. Nothing's going to change. It's always going to be like this. And if we're honest, many of us have fallen for that. Not because we're weak, but because we're worn down. Life hit us in places we didn't expect. We got let down by people we trusted. Doors that looked wide open slammed shut. Prayers felt like they hit the ceiling and bounced back. And in those moments, joy started to slip. Not all at once. It was gradual. The smile stayed, but it became hollow. The laughter was real, but it didn't go deep anymore. We kept functioning, but we stopped feeling. That's exactly where the enemy wants you. Numb, drained, and quiet. Because if he can steal your joy, he can silence your praise. And if he can silence your praise, he can make you forget who you are. And what the enemy steals, God restores. That leads to the second truth. God doesn't just give you back what you lost. He doesn't do copy paste restorations. He doesn't return it in the same condition. When God restores, he restores better. He restores with interest. He upgrades what was broken. He rebuilds with heavenly strength. So if you've lost your joy, if you've been walking around empty, know this. God is not just returning your joy to how it used to be. He's making it stronger, deeper, richer. He's giving you a joy that can't be shaken next time the storm comes. Restoration in God's hands is different. When we think of restoration, we think of going back to the good old days, back to how things used to be. But God doesn't deal in nostalgia. He deals in elevation. He restores joy by giving you a new understanding of it. Before, your joy might have depended on things going your way, but this time, your joy is going to flow from your relationship with him, not your results. Some of us want the past back. We want the old job, the old relationship, the old version of ourselves that didn't feel so broken. But God says, I got something better than what you lost. He's not just healing you so you can go back to who you were always meant to become. A person who carries unshakable joy. A person who can walk through fire and still worship. A person who doesn't crumble when things go sideways. Because their strength isn't in what's temporary, it's in what's eternal. This is why you can't quit right now. You're not just fighting for a better day, you're fighting for your joy. And your joy is the foundation of everything else. When your joy returns, your vision clears, your energy returns, your passion reignites. And the best part, people around you start to notice. They see the light back in your eyes. They feel the shift in your spirit. And it becomes a testimony. You get to say, I didn't get here on my own. God brought me back. God restored me. And the joy I have now, the world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. So yes, the enemy may have hit you hard, but he made a mistake because he underestimated the God who fights for you, and God already gave the word, I will restore your joy. And when God speaks, the enemy has to back down. Restoration is coming, not recycled joy, resurrected joy. Stronger, deeper, better than before. When God restores something, he doesn't bring it back the same way it left. He's not in the business of rewinding. He's in the business of redeeming. So when he says, I will restore your joy, he's not saying he'll hand you the exact version of joy you had before, the pain, the loss, the disappointment. No, God's restoration means better, stronger, wiser, more powerful. Because what broke you then won't break you now. What you lost then wasn't wasted. It was used to prepare the ground for a greater, deeper joy that only he could provide. Many people want what they had before. They pray for their old self back. They miss who they were before the heartbreak, before the setback, before the dark season. But the truth is, that version of you wasn't ready for what God has planned. You had to go through it. You had to lose some things. You had to feel the emptiness to understand the weight of real joy. You had to experience brokenness to appreciate how complete God's healing really is. Restoration in the kingdom isn't just replacement, it's revelation. Think about it. When God restores, he often upgrades. Job didn't just get back what he lost, he received double. The prodigal son didn't just return to the house, he was welcomed with a robe, a ring, and a feast. Restoration in God's hands always exceeds expectations. That's because God isn't trying to just fix what's broken. He's building something new with the broken pieces. He's showing you that what was once a source of pain can become a testimony of power. That's why you don't need to beg for what you had. You need to prepare for what's coming. God is not interested in returning to the good old days. He's leading you into something greater, something unshakable. The joy that's coming isn't fragile. It's not based on circumstances. It's not dependent on people liking you, affirming you, or staying loyal. This joy is coming straight from the heart of the Father, and it will carry you through storms that would have destroyed the old you. See, when God restores, he also redefines. That's part of why the process takes time. He's not just giving you the feeling of joy back. He's teaching you how to live in it. Before, your joy may have come from temporary highs, achievements, attention, validation. But now, he's taking you to a place where your joy flows from your identity in him, not your situation. That kind of joy can't be stolen. It doesn't crumble when plans fall apart. It stands firm even when life shakes. That means the restoration process isn't always comfortable. Sometimes God has to strip away what you were leaning on so he can teach you to lean on him. Sometimes he allows the silence, the loneliness, the frustration, not to punish you, but to position you. He's pruning, not abandoning. He's preparing your heart to receive a joy that won't collapse under pressure. A joy that survives the fire and comes out refined. So when you say, God, restore my joy, be ready for him to do more than just make you feel better. Be ready for him to rebuild your life from the inside out. He's not giving you back what broke you. He's giving you something that will build you. And when it comes, it won't look like what you had before. It'll be more solid, more rooted, more real. You won't have to force it. You'll live in it. And here's the powerful part. When that joy returns, it won't just bless you. It will bless everyone connected to you. Because restored joy overflows. It lifts others. It ignites purpose. It inspires courage. People will look at you and say, there's something different about you. And you'll say, yeah, God did this. The kind of restoration that brings back more than you ever imagined. The kind that reminds you who you are, who God is, and how unshakable his love really is. When God restores, he doesn't rewind. He elevates. Sometimes it feels like your joy just disappeared. Like one day you were full of energy, excitement, and peace, and the next it was just gone. You're still showing up, still moving, still talking to people, still going through the motions, but something in you feels quiet, dull, disconnected. You're laughing, but it doesn't hit the same. You're smiling, but there's a tiredness in your eyes that won't go away. And if you're honest, you probably ask yourself, where did my joy go? Here's the truth. Your joy wasn't lost. It was never fully gone. It was under construction. God didn't let your joy die. He took it into his hands to rebuild it. But that's not how God works. God isn't punishing you by taking away your joy. He's preparing you by rebuilding it on a better foundation. Think of it like this. If you build a house on shaky ground, no matter how beautiful it looks, it's not going to last when the storm hits. That's how some of us were living. We had joy, but it was rooted in unstable soil. It was based on people treating us a certain way, on the success we were chasing, on the security of routines and comfort zones. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't solid. And because God loves you too much to let your joy be that fragile, he allowed it to be taken apart, not to destroy it, but to reinforce it. Joy under construction means God is rewiring your heart. He's pulling out the parts that were too dependent on outside circumstances. He's installing deeper trust, stronger faith, and clearer vision. He's teaching you to rely on him for joy, not on what's around you. And that takes time. It takes silence. It takes uncomfortable moments of wondering, why does it feel like I'm not myself anymore? But the answer isn't that you've lost yourself. It's that God is remaking you. It's in those quiet, frustrating seasons that God does his best work. While you're asking for the old joy back, he's preparing something new, something that doesn't break when people walk away, something that doesn't crumble when plans fall through, something that doesn't disappear when the future feels uncertain. That's not cheap joy. That's mature joy. Joy that's been tested, refined, proven in the fire. And when that kind of joy returns, it won't feel shallow. It'll feel deep, rooted, real. You won't have to chase moments to feel it. You'll carry it with you. It will become part of your foundation, not just part of your mood. And what's powerful is that nobody will be able to explain how you're still standing, still smiling, still worshiping, but you'll know. You'll know the joy you have now was born in the struggle. You'll know it came through tears, through surrender, through waiting on God, even when it didn't make sense. So don't believe the lie that your joy is gone forever. It's not gone, it's growing. It's being built stronger than it's ever been. God is not ignoring you. He's not punishing you. He's preparing you for the kind of joy that doesn't depend on feelings. He's preparing you to be unshakable. That's why you had to go through the silence. That's why some things had to fall apart. That's why some things had to fall apart. That's why some things had to feel fulfilling, because God wasn't trying to hurt you. He was trying to heal you at a deeper level. He was pulling you out of survival mode and teaching you how to live in joy again. Real joy. Joy that doesn't make sense to the world, but makes perfect sense in his kingdom. And when the time is right, when the construction is complete, you won't just feel like yourself again. You feel better than you've ever been. You'll walk with a confidence that's built on God, not ego. You'll love harder, live freer, and lead stronger. And you'll carry joy like a weapon, not just a feeling. So hold on. Your joy hasn't vanished. It's just under construction. And what's coming is going to be worth every second of the wait. When God says, I will restore your joy, it's not just a promise for a feeling. It's a call to move. Restoration isn't something we just sit back and wait for. It's something we walk into. God has already spoken the word. He's already declared that your joy is coming back. But now the question is, are you ready to act like it's already yours? This is where many people miss it. We pray for joy. We cry out for restoration, but we live like we're still broken. We carry ourselves like victims of the past instead of victors of the promise. But restoration doesn't happen by standing still. It happens when you begin to participate with what God is doing. You don't have to feel joyful to move in joy. You just have to trust the one who said it's coming back. Faith is not about waiting to feel better. Faith is about walking like it's already done. It's praising God in the valley. It's worshiping when your heart is heavy. It's declaring my joy is coming back even when you're still crying. You have to learn how to act like restoration is already in motion. Because the truth is, if you wait to move until you feel joy, you may never move. But if you move in faith, the feeling will catch up with your obedience. Think of the woman with the issue of blood. She didn't wait until she was healed to move. She moved in her weakness. She pressed through the crowd with no guarantee, only a belief that if she could just touch Jesus, something would change. That's how joy is restored. You move through the doubt. You push through the fatigue. You reach out in the middle of the pain, and that movement becomes the moment where heaven meets earth. Too many of us are stuck in neutral, waiting for life to fix itself. But restoration isn't passive, it's prophetic. It's your declaration that even though you've been through hell, you're not staying there. Even though you've cried, you're not living in mourning. Even though you've been disappointed, you're still expecting God to come through. That's the mindset of someone who knows that joy is more than a feeling, it's a faith stance. So what does participation look like? It looks like showing up even when you feel unseen. It looks like praying when your heart is numb. It looks like encouraging others while you're still waiting on your breakthrough. It's not about faking it. It's about faith in it. It's about aligning your actions with what God has promised instead of what your emotions are telling you. Because your emotions might lie to you, but God never does. You have to shift from survival mode to surrender. Survival mode says, I'll just wait and see. Surrender says, even if I don't see it yet, I'll praise anyway. And when you do that, something begins to break in the spirit. Heaven starts to respond to your movement. Restoration begins to rise, not just around you, but within you. That's the kind of faith that activates joy. Not the kind that waits for everything to be perfect, but the kind that dances in the middle of the storm. You don't have to wait until everything looks right to step into your joy. Start walking like it's already restored. Start speaking like you've already been healed. Start praising like the victory is already yours. Because when you move with that kind of expectation, you're not just surviving, you're aligning with what God already declared. And here's the truth. The more you move, the more your spirit catches fire again. That tired heart begins to beat with purpose. That weary soul begins to lift its head. The joy doesn't just show up all at once. It builds as you walk in obedience, as you worship, as you trust, as you get up each day and say, God, I believe what you said. I will not let this season define me. I will not let sorrow keep me stuck. I will rise, I will move, and I will receive everything you promise. This is not about pretending everything's okay. It's about declaring that God's word is greater than your current reality. He said your joy is coming back, so move like it, walk like it, worship like it, because restoration is not coming, it's already happening. And your faith is the key that unlocks the door. Picture your life like a lamp. Purpose is the bulb. Joy is the electricity. A brand new bulb can sit there brilliantly designed, wired for impact, but without power, it stays dark. That's what life feels like when joy is leaked out. There may still be dreams, talents, and credentials, yet everything seems dim. God never created you to live like that because the world needs the specific light only you can cast. So when he declares, I will restore your joy, he is not simply handing you a brighter mood. He is flipping the switch on your assignment. Joy animates purpose because it anchors you in why you were born instead of what you're currently facing. Before restoration, you may grind through the day just ticking boxes. But when joy floods back in, ordinary tasks regain meaning. Work stops being mere survival and becomes service. Relationships move from draining to divine appointments. Ideas that once felt impossible now pulse with possibility. The same schedule, the same challenges, even the same paycheck can suddenly feel brand new because the lens has changed. Joy restores color to a world gone gray, revealing doors you missed when pain blurred your vision. Clarity follows close behind. Pain tends to scatter our focus. Every negative headline, every critical comment, every unexpected bill pulls at the mind like static. Restored joy silences that noise. You begin to hear the whisper of God's guidance again. Call that mentor, apply for that grant, volunteer in that neighborhood, write that book. You recognize divine nudges you ignored while discouraged. Joy is like windshield wipers in a storm. The road was always there. You just couldn't see it. Now opportunities that once looked random line up into a storyline too intentional to be coincidence. With clarity comes confidence. Restoration is heaven's endorsement that you're still chosen. Shame fades because you realize God never reconsidered your value, even during your lowest moments. The smile that returns is not cosmetic. It announces internal agreement with divine favor. Confidence bursts risk-taking, and risk is the runway where purpose takes off. People who once tiptoed through life start pitching big ideas, starting nonprofits, changing career paths, proposing solutions where others only complain. They act as though success is inevitable, not because circumstances guarantee it, but because God's joy confirms they are moving with Him. Restored joy also attracts collaboration. Purpose is rarely a solo endeavor. It expands through partnerships. When your countenance lifts, people lean in. Employers want that energy on their teams. Friends gravitate to the peace you carry. Mentors suddenly answer emails that used to sit unread. The glow of true joy signals that your environment is safe for growth, safe for brainstorming, safe for vulnerability, safe for dreaming. Communities form around that safety. And purpose accelerates in community. Projects you never could have accomplished alone start gaining momentum because heaven's joy has magnetized the right people to your orbit. Perhaps the most profound shift is endurance. When funds run low, joy whispers that provision follows vision. When results lag, joy secures you in process over product. That resilience confounds onlookers. How do you keep showing up after rejection? Keep smiling under pressure. Keep forgiving after betrayal. The answer isn't willpower. It's restored joy, pumping perseverance through every vein of your calling. Finally, joy-powered purpose spills over into legacy. When people encounter someone fully alive, they catch a glimpse of what God desires for everyone. Your kids see resilience modeled. Colleagues know integrity under stress. Strangers sense hope where they expected cynicism. Your story becomes a living invitation. If God can reignite my joy after everything I've walked through, He can reignite yours too. That ripple effect is bigger than platforms or titles. It's eternal influence born from a heart set ablaze again. So if you find yourself praying for purpose, yet feeling flat, start where God starts. Let Him restore your joy. Lean into worship even when tears blur the lyrics. Speak promises over your life before evidence appears. Serve others while your own miracle is still brewing. Every act of faith lifts another fragment of rubble off your buried joy until the current surges again. And when it does, don't be surprised if direction snaps into focus, opportunities align, and courage surges through your chest. Joy restored is purpose unlocked. Because the moment your light returns, destiny finally has the power it needs to shine.